He's here.
This is the
Open it up.
BOCES. He's not gonna do a presentation, he's gonna work with Vince. Vince can start it, right?
Well, I'm going to open it up because I didn't open it up. Ladies and gents, could we be seated? We have a budget presentation was scheduled to go, budget workshop. Call the budget workshop to order. I'd like to welcome our newly appointed superintendent of BOCES, Jonah Schenker. And he is going to present our BOCES budget tonight.
I have Amanda Stokas with us, who is our business official. So just quick run of show. I'll just say a quick hello, and then we'll go over this sheet, which is not up on the big screen. That's kind of just where your students are placed at BOCES. Everybody has one?
You have one right over there.
Then I'll talk a little bit about our increases across our COSERs, and then I'm going to turn it over to Amanda, and she'll take you through this spreadsheet here that you have in front of you and that's up on the screen. I want to start off by thanking the Ellenville administrative team and the board for your continued partnership. We love working with Ellenville. Out of all of our districts, we have Kingston, who has participated heavily in the P-TECH program. But Ellenville jumping in to create their own P-TECH has been a magnificent experience for both BOCES, Ellenville students, and this shared collaboration that's happening between the two programs, both for students and for the teachers. This network of teachers who are really thinking differently about what school could or should look like. And just talking with Kelly, wonderful things are happening for those students right here in Ellenville that are engaging in that program. So thank you. Thank you for your support for all of our programs that are for students, that are for teachers, that are for services. You continue to be huge partners for us. And really a special thank you to Lisa and Kelly and Vince, who have been colleagues, friends, and provided guidance and support for me along my journey, 14 years at BOCES, and now I have the pleasure to lead the next chapter as district superintendent. I am humbled, I am honored. It really is a dream come true for me to be able to do this work. And I just will leave you with a promise that I show up each and every day. I will work as hard as I possibly can on behalf of our shared students, the other students in the county, and the teachers that we know that touch the lives of all the students. So thank you so much for being part of this awesome county. We have a phenomenal leadership and school district system in this county. The conversations and the collaborations that are happening, especially post-COVID, there are just amazing to be around. And in my short time sitting at the district superintendent table, a couple of months up at State Ed, not all counties operate like us. Look out for each other, lean on each other, share ideas. So I'm super excited to be able to partner in this work. So thank you. This first sheet, really speaks for itself. It is your program students who are attending different programs. The top are CTE programs, and you can see on the right numbers of Ellenville students and which programs they're taking. That's then GED and New Visions. Below that, you'll see special education programming, down to our TTP program. TTP is our short-term therapeutic transitional program. That is really a program when a student has an acute life situation or hospitalization and needs a bridge either back to district or to next placement, provides kind of rapid therapeutic psychiatric support so we don't lose more time. And there's a growing need for that program, K-12. Below that is our Phoenix Academy. You have several students there, and you have no students in the Hudson Valley Pathways Academy because you have your very own P-TECH. So that's the spread of students across there. Before I turn it over to Amanda to kind of take you through the monies that that Ellenville spends with BOCES, how much of those monies are tied to BOCES aid, and really the real cost at the end of the year. You'll see the last form isn't filled out because that's this current year, so spending fluctuates with BOCES as we move forward. It could be that you have a special ed student who moves into district tomorrow and they have to be placed, so that's a moving target. But over the last couple of years, we have worked very, very hard, and we continue to do that to keep our cost at 2% or below. So when you look across all the COSERs, we aim to keep them, most of them are coming in between 1 and 2%. Where you'll see costs that are greater than 2%, those are costs that are passed on to us. They're not BOCES generated costs. So if we are providing services with an outside vendor and that vendor raises their cost 4%, that 4%, again, that 4% may only represent $2,000, but that percent is going to be above and beyond the 2% because they hold that cost. Many of the BOCES services, we act as the kind of middle man or the liaison, and so it's services coming through. So those are kind of the outside uncontrollables, but any of our services that we control, we have worked very hard to keep at 2% or below. The administrative budget, which is the only portion of the BOCES budget that's voted on, that'll be voted on at the meeting on Thursday, at the Ulster County School Board's meeting on Thursday. That increase was 1%. That's the admin budget. So we did 1% increase on that. And our capital budget, which is not voted on, we kept that flat. So that's kind of the overall 30,000-foot view of where our increases show up in cost. If you see revenues increasing, that's because you are sending more students to our program. You have increased the number of students that come to Career and Tech over the last couple of years. You may have increased our use for professional development on superintendent's conference days or services purchased through BOCES. So increase to the BOCES budget is because you are leveraging more shared services or student-based programs, not due to an increase in a percentage cost driven by the BOCES. So I'm going to pause there for a second. Any questions regarding where your students are showing up, percent increases? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Amanda to kind of run through a little bit of a historic look back, and we'll really look at last year.
John?
Yes, thank you for coming. If you've been here before, you know I'm usually the guy that used to give Dr. Corey a hard time about the increases. And I know everything's going up. You said that your percentages were between 1 and 2. I appreciate that. And of course, any students that could benefit from the BOCES services, we want to send them. So I'm going to go easy on you this year. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions? Great. I'm going to turn it.
Oh,
sorry.
Jody?
Sorry. I see that we don't have any participants except for one in the New Visions program, which used to be a higher number. Do we know why that's decreased?
We have to check with guidance, I'm not positive.
Are we not?
We'll look into it.
Okay.
Thank you. You can continue.
Sure.
Way shorter than Jonah. Hi, everyone. I am the Amanda Stokes, the business official at Ulster BOCES. Did I turn this off?
You have to speak closer into it.
So Amanda Stokes, the business official at Ulster BOCES, and I'm not as eloquent and long-winded as Dr. Shanker, but
Wow.
while I am,
Bold. I would say you're bold.
That's a bold move. That's the new superintendent, just so they can know.
yes, he promised to
That's
keep it
bold.
to 3 minutes, and I think
That's the Reader's Digest
He went
version.
over 3. So I won't keep you, but while I am a new administrator at Ulster BOCES, I have been with the business office for 17 years, so I do have a lot of knowledge and history of what's been going on in the budget.
May I say you were the new administrator after that comment to Dr.
Correct. I'll take it. Okay. So I have up here on the screen, you can see the 5 years prior participation in service. As you see, the participation's been pretty consistent. Well, you did have a little jump of $500,000 in the 21-22 year. Really, that was coming off a low from COVID. So if you go back to 18-19 and see how things were streaming, that's kind of right in line with where it would be. Below that, you can see the amount of services that you have for coastal participation that's not eligible for BOCES aid, which is your special education, your ESL, and transportation. Those services have different aids, not BOCES aids. They fall under high-cost aid and LEAP aid. So with those out of the budget, if you look at the BOCES aid ratio, you can see how what the eligible amounts were and the years. And then below that, you'll see the amount of refund. So if you take the top number, subtract, and then you get that. And then once you have the refund, you can see that the net cost of the participation is actually quite low. Now it's not accounting for the special education services, but it's 1.2 million as opposed to the big number up above, the 8 million. And it's the net cost of all of when it adds the number back into 5.5 million. So I think most of your services have been pretty consistent over the last 5 years. I don't think there's been a huge increase. We're trying very hard to be aware and cognizant of your 2% increase for your tax cap, and we're trying to keep things in line with that. So as Dr. Schenker did mention, we kept the admin budget, which you do have a vote on, at 1% increase, and remained the capital budget flat. We do have a capital project ongoing right now, but aside from that, the regular capital, which includes our leases, and a transfer to capital for normal maintenance on the buildings, we kept at a 0% increase. So did anybody have any questions on this?
Any questions? John?
Thank you. Maybe I'll get another shot at Dr. Schenker after you went after him. What's the farthest school from the Port Ewing campus in Ulster?
Furthest school from Port Ewing, I have to look, I would say, certain areas in Walk Hill that are
Right.
going to touch Orange that are probably, and then there's obviously Onteora is a really, really big geography. So it depends on if we're looking at location from our component high schools versus where a student might be coming from their home, right? And most of the time we're doing kind of the analysis from high school. I can get you the exact.
But we're right there.
It's yes, you are decent.
I think the students
decent
that
trip.
come from the high school are facing a fairly lengthy bus
About an
ride.
hour.
So,
Right,
Yeah, I think a little. I would say probably 50 minutes.
So that's 50 minutes there and 50 minutes back. So that's, 2 hours out of a kid's day. In the past, I believe there were some services from BOCES given locally. Would we ever consider looking into that? I mean, Rondout can't be much closer than us. I know that that's a big drawback for a lot of the kids, that it's that, long bus ride
Right.
every day. So is there a possibility that in the future, some capital projects might be down this way?
Yeah, I mean, component-based BOCES programming is a model that exists throughout the state. We've had that. We ran a pretty large special ed program, elementary, in New Paltz at the Lenape School. We had elementary programming in the Walk Hill School District. It's a little bit longer of a conversation about when it works and why it works, and when it fails and why it fails. But there are models to do that. In terms of high school programming, career and tech programming, for instance, is it possible to look at school-based tech programming? It is possible. Again, we have to remember that when we have a BOCES program, it requires a share, and so we need more than one district to participate. There are ways to create satellites and use the larger career and tech umbrella as the share, allowing a program to exist kind of as a standalone, if you will, in a particular district. So they're all things that we can we can discuss if there's a need for, or a desire to explore that, a particular programming in a district. I mean, you can look down here at the numbers of which programs you have, and so cosmetology, 12 students, right? At some point, does it make sense to have some type of cosmetology program right here in Allenville? Maybe, maybe not. That's a discussion for you all, but there is an impact on the building, and it's not necessarily negative, but there's a way to do it that we could explore.
Well, David Little, who's coming, I believe, to see us tonight, there he is right there, has talked about rural schools having to partner in certain things. And I've encouraged our administration, where economically feasible, to bring some kids back to here, because I believe from what you said, that transportation cost is, especially at 50 minutes each way, gets up there. So I was just wondering if it's possible to look at that, to help us out. You know, maybe we could partner with a Rondout or something to do some of our more popular programs and bring them locally and hopefully save some money.
Again, if there's a need or a want or a desire from a district, the answer is yes, we're happy to have those discussions to see what it looks like. And again, if we're able to place a program in a district, that frees up certain space in our Port Ewan Center to be able to expand to other growing areas that we just can't because we're out of space as well. So
If my memory serves me correctly, wasn't the building that was out back a BOCES building?
Yeah, many years ago.
Right.
Probably in the 90s, they put a modular building up.
Right.
And we had special ed classrooms in there. As the special education laws evolved, they were kind of isolated, they weren't as mainstreamed. So we brought the classes in, and then we had other programs out there. But then so many years went by that the building became outdated, and it had to be taken down. It was just a modular with a useful life that went far beyond what it should have.
Right.
But we could look at more things like that.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions?
Or, if not, thank you very much.
Great, thank you all
We
so
enjoyed
much, I
having you.
appreciate it.
Congratulations again.
And congratulations again.
Thank you.
He's got one slide for review. I think he's okay. Take care. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Jonah, you're not there, right?
Do we have chairs for?
Over there?
You want chairs set up?
Yep, yep. Vince has, you have to tell me he's got 5 minutes. Is he gonna be singing?
All right, Vince, you're up.
If you guys want to, just give me a second to set up some chairs over
You
here
have,
for the audience. Okay,
Let's hear.
so thank you very much. Tonight is a full budget review with the exception of one slide. You've heard me talk about all of these before, so I'll quickly run through them, but I will pause on the one slide or the areas where I think I need to spend a little bit more time. Again, last year's approved budget was $56.8 million. This year, we're talking roughly $60.8 million, an increase of 7.08%, with a tax levy increase of 4.52%, which is 0.48% underneath the tax levy cap. When you typically look at when you look at a school district's budget, it's broken down usually into 3 different components. That's the administrative component, which is the administrative cost to running the district, programs, which is the cost of educating our students directly, and then capital. And these are all laid out with the increases for each of them accordingly. You'll notice that capital is up quite a bit. That's because we've begun paying for our capital project, and I'll give an update quickly on how well that's going for our new cafeteria in the back of the elementary school. Breaking down our revenues quickly, our revenues are typically consist of federal aid, other revenues, which could be pilots, charges for non-student tuition, health and welfare, and interest on our bank accounts. State aid. State aid is up over 10%. There is a survey that's available out on the business office website. We're required to conduct a foundation aid survey since our foundation aid is up over 10%, soliciting input from teachers, staff, community members. Our assigned fund balance is any funds that we have that we need to cover any type of gaps. That's also listed here. Our tax levy, like I said, is up 4.52%. So overall, our budget is up just over 7%. This slide I will not go through in great detail, but it illustrates each of the expenses, the components or departments, if you would, on where our expenditures lie. This is a quick state aid review, and these are all available, will be available tomorrow on our website and also through board docs. And the school board has that available to them in board docs as well.
Vince, can I just ask, is this in our,
That's in board docs. I think it's 1.1 maybe, if I'm not mistaken. Could be 1.2, 1.1, or 1.2 in board docs.
I can't, I only have one slide. We don't have the whole presentation.
I've got 4 slides.
There should be 4 in there. One is the presentation. The other one is the full BOCES budget detail. Dr. Schenker had us at the 35,000-foot view. I re-illustrated the BOCES budget so that everyone could see each of the component costs and the percentage increases.
Yeah, all of these slides are not in there.
Only one slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the full budget, it's only one slide.
All right, I'll have to figure out what happened with board docs because they were there when I looked earlier today. I'm not sure.
We'll update you tonight so you have it, and this will all be on the website.
Yeah, I post this on the website, and I'll see what happened in board docs.
And I will say there's been no change since the last review we did
Right.
2
So we
weeks
can go
ago.
back to the budget.
You can go back to the same
The home
documents.
page
Right, Vince,
on the
there's been
school
no
board.
changes.
There have not been any changes, and if there are any changes between now and the
Next week.
next week, I will let you know. We adopt our budget next week. Any changes that we might see between then and now would be special education, any placements that we would have either at a private placement or a BOCES placement. And if you remember, we have some money set aside for any unanticipated special education placements in the budget. So the one slide that we have not talked about is up on the screen, and while I know it's pretty dense, down in the bottom left-hand corner, I try to illustrate based on today's numbers what the tax levy impact would be on someone's home at $100,000 value and how much it would go up. Now, what can happen between now, or what will happen between now and when we adopt our tax levy in September, the equalization rates will change, the assessed values of someone's homes may change, so these numbers that I'm presenting here are general. So if you look at your tax bill from last year or from this school year, you may have a number, and now we're saying, well, the tax levy is going to go up 4.52%. Each individual taxpayer's tax bill is not going to be 4.52%. Some might go down, some might go up, more or less than the 4.52%, and there are a lot of factors that go into how your tax bill may change. How do you vote? So it's here in the Senior High School Media Center on May 16th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you haven't registered to vote, you can certainly do that. If you have any questions, you can contact me or Marisol Hempt, our district clerk, at area code 845-647-0100. And then on May 9th, we'll have our budget hearing, and I get to do this again, but quicker.
That it? You good? Any board members?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will adjourn our budget workshop, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the budget workshop, reconvene the public session in about 30 seconds.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned. We will now reopen the we'll open the public session, rather. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have more people back here. Some more chairs here, maybe?
There's chairs over there. There's chairs there. We should have enough chairs.
I think there are.
Entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the March 28, 2023 meeting.
So moved. Second.
We'll move and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Public forum for this evening? Nothing? No one for public forum. We move into presentations. We will have two of them. And we definitely welcome both of these presentations. First, I'm going to call up to the podium Mr. David Little, Rural Schools Association Executive Director, on the RSA Student Video Contest Award winners.
Good evening, everybody. About 25 years ago, I went to work for the State School Boards Association, and at the time, I had been my alma mater's school board president for 10 years, and they told me I would have to stop being a school board member if I worked there because it might be a conflict of interest if my district wanted to buy services or something. And I was really honked off at the time that they would force me to resign from doing the work that you're doing. And now I realize what a favor they did for me that night. I appreciate the work that you do very much. It's not easy, and the staff's worked really hard. I can tell on this. Several years ago, the Rural Schools Association started off with this contest in a different form. We wanted to change our logo, and so we had a student logo contest. And we had that statewide. The contest itself went well. The logo wasn't so great, so we ended up not having a winner for that year. The winner was actually, the one we thought was really excellent actually was a major corporation's logo. They had just altered it a little bit. We would have gotten in trouble. So we moved to student artwork. And that was great for a couple of years, and then we moved to student photos. My younger son is a professional photographer, and I judged the student photo contest thinking I knew what I was doing. And when I emailed what I had selected as the winner to him, he said, "You know this is a really poorly done Photoshop photo, right?" So I decided, let's do student videos, right? So we've been doing student videos now. I think this is our third year, and that's gone dramatically well, because we really wanted, with all of the contests, we wanted to somehow highlight the value and the uniqueness of each individual community that hosts a rural school and the value of that rural school to their community. And so this is, I think, the third year that we've done videos, and I'm really amazed, and you should be amazed at the success of the students that you have that have been involved in this year. When you think about it, there are over 700 school districts, and you have 2 winners coming out of Ellenville. So what I would like to do, first of all, I want to give credit to the New York Schools Insurance Reciprocal, because they sponsored not only the prize money, but the money that it takes for me to travel around and hand out the awards. And so we want to thank NYSER for having done that. And to thank your staff for being involved and helping with the coaching with these. And so if you'll give me half a second, we'll present these. And if you could just come up, I've got a certificate and a check for each of you. So hang on just half a second because I want to start at the other end. Okay. The video entitled Ellenville School Spirit was our second place runner-up winner, which is fairly dramatic given the number of entries that we had. And the first presentation, the certificate and the check goes to Travis Thorpe. And his partner in this, again for Ellenville School Spirit and second place runner-up, was Alexander Labauti. It gets even better. I have several presentations now because there were several people involved in this. But for diversity in Ellenville, we have several people involved in what is our first place selection. Congratulations. There is a grand prize winner that you'd be able to see on the website if you want to know the one video that got a higher ranking than you did, but first place in New York State is a wonderful designation to have, and it was in fact a wonderful video. So I want to bring up Amelia Benjamin. And Michelle Wang. Elijah Robinson. And Maya Espinoza. Thanks, folks. Be proud.
I just want to say one thing. So, Mr. Little, I just want to publicly thank you. And I've been in the district 26 years, so I know you from school boards. And you are a fierce advocate for public education, fierce advocate to help us get our foundation aid reestablished. And we appreciate all the work that you do, now at rural schools, but definitely at NISBA before. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Little.
Do we get to see these videos?
Mrs. Wiles?
Yeah, I'd like to see the
Are the
videos.
videos going to be posted on either the district
They're on,
YouTube channel?
they're on our
or-
YouTube channels. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you. And thanks to all the winners, and congratulations to all of you over there. You guys did a wonderful job representing Ellenville, and the Board of Education and Administration of the district are very proud of you, and proud of you and your parents and your caretakers. So thank you, and congratulations.
Are we not going to see them?
He's got to cue them up.
He's gotta cue
We have
them
them up. We'll show them, we'll
show
get them
them.
to you.
Okay.
And next, I got a sneak peek of this last night, and some of you got to see it, but I got a sneak peek over at Village Hall because this wonderful cast of students and their helpers and staff members came over to the Village Hall and gave us a little taste of what Grease was all about. So we're going to call up Dawn Muller and the cast of Grease. Jack in.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not very good at this. We were asked to come tonight, and we're very honored and very thankful for all the support that the district has given us. I cannot tell you how proud I am to be a part of Ellenville and this group of kids. And I've had the great opportunity to work with amazing parents and volunteers and Mr. Barton. And I'm just really glad that you invited us to be here. And here they are. Really proud of them.
Summer lovin' had me up at last.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy cute as can be.
Summer days drifting away to all those summer nights.
Well, tell me more, come on, let's hear the dirt.
Tell me more, tell me more. Does he drive a Convert?
Took her bowling in the arcade.
We went strolling, drank lemonade.
We told jokes under the dock.
We stayed out till 10 o'clock.
Summer fling don't mean a thing that all those summer nights.
Tell me more, but you don't have to brag.
Tell me more, cause he sounds like a drag.
Shoot-a-bop-bop, 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 shoot-a-bop-bop,
Got friendly, holding my hand.
Well, she got friendly down on the sand.
He was sweet, just turned 18.
Well, she was cool, do you know what I mean? Summer heat don't mean a thing that all the summer nights.
Tell me more, how much dough did he spend?
Tell me more,
She get me a friend.
It turned colder, that's where it ends.
So I told her we'd still be friends.
Then we made our true love vow.
Wonder what she's doing now. Summer dreams ripped at the seams. But oh, those summer
So I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure while we're in this public forum to be a part of this musical in every way. We're so proud of these kids. So thank you for all of your support, everyone. This is our final performance as we go together.
we go together like Rama Lama Lama, ka-ding-a-ding-a-dong. Remember forever as shoo-bop, shoo-wada-wada, yippity-boom, boom. Chang, chang, changity, chang, shoo-bop. That's the way it should be. Oh, yeah! We're one of a kind, like dip-da-dip-da-dip, doo-wop-a-dooby-doo. Our names are signed like boogity-boogity-boogity-boogity, shoo-be-doo-wop, shoo-bop. Chang, chang, changity, chang, shoo-bop. We'll always be like one. Wah, 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 wah. When we go out at night and stars are shining bright up in the skies above, or at the high school dance where you can find romance, maybe it might be love, 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 love. Rama, lama, lama, ka-ding-a-ding-a-dong. Chang, chang, changity, chang, shabop. Do-wop-a-doo-be-doo. Boogity, 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 shoo-doo-wop, shabop. Shana-na-na-na-na-na, yippity-dip-to-doo. Rama, lama, lama, a singity-ding-a-dong. Shoo-bop, shoo-wada-wada, yippity-boom-da-boom. Chang, chang, changity, chang, shabop. Dip-da-dip-da-dip, do-wop-a-doo-be-doo. Boogie, boogity, 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 shoo-doo-wop, shabop. Shana-na-na-na-na-na, yippity-dip-to-doo.
Wop-bam-a-loo-mop-a-wop-bam-boo.
For each other like wop wop and boo. Just like my brother is sha-na-na-na-na-na-na, yippity-dip-de-doo. Chang, chang, changity, chang, shabop. We'll always be together. Oh, yeah. Chang, chang, changity, chang, shabop. 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 Chang, chang, changity, chang, shabop.
I'd just like to point out to everybody here, and I'm sure you're all aware of it, but the dedication and the commitment that these students and obviously the parents and supporters and the staff members committed to this performance and to this musical is unbelievable. And it just goes to show you that a lot of great things happen in Ellenville. We have a lot of great kids, and you guys are certainly the shining examples of what we expect here in Ellenville and what you delivered. So thank you very much, and congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you. Board members, anybody else? No? All right. Move on. Under reports and correspondence, I have nothing for. Oh, that's correct, yeah. You guys, we know you'd rather be home doing your homework, and I'm sure you don't want to sit here listening to us. So you're welcome. You're more than welcome to stay, but you can leave if you want to.
Very good story.
It's good to see you here, Bernice.
Great job, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to reports, information, correspondence. I have nothing for this evening. Board membership. John?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that the Hall of Fame committee will be meeting in the very near future now, that we have our committee together to put the Hall of Fame class of 2023 together, and I'll have more information on that once we pick our final candidates and bring that back to you. I just want to thank you, Mr. President, for bringing your traveling entertainment roadshow to the board last board meeting. I believe it the one before we got to hear the band, and then this kind of stuff just shows, you know, how talented our students are. I did want to say something about the Rural Schools Association, and as I mentioned to you and Lisa, when I was at the Rural Schools Association conference and Mr. Little announced the contest, I brought it back and said to Tim Lukaseski and Alan Buckler that I brought this here because I know you guys will win. I think that those two gentlemen, Mr. Lukaseski and Mr. Buckler, deserve a ton of credit. We all know what they produce out of that tiny closet next door, and I think we need to do our best to get them the room that we promised them a few years back. But you all know I've been outspoken about the state force-feeding us diversity. As I've mentioned to Lisa, Ellenville's been the most diverse school district in a 50-mile radius for the last 50 years. So I knew we were going to win. And I think that if anybody's going to be promoting diversity, it should be us. And to take, going hand in hand with that is also the spirit in Ellenville that the kids won second prize for. And so I just wanted to make sure we recognize Tim and Alan for the work they do and the kids that put a tremendous thing together. I actually saw the video. So that was a great job. Thank you.
So on cue, Tim Lukaseski is here, so let's give him a round of applause. Thank you for all your continued hard work, Tim. Anybody else? Move on to our trustee correspondent, who's back joining us here after his little hiatus there with the Grease musical, but hello, Jack. What do you got for us this evening?
All right. We're going to begin with happenings and events. The Junior Senior High School Student Council is hosting a pet drive with the Ulster County SPCA. And on April 21st, students in band and chorus in grades 7 through 12 will be going to Kingston High School to perform at the NISMA Solo Festival. And the third marking period ends on Friday, 75% done with the school year on Friday. Athletics now. All spring sports teams have started playing games and matches and have their sights on having successful seasons. Finally, for fundraising, the class of 2026, their Little Caesars pickup is tomorrow from 3 to 5 by the tennis courts. And it's never too late to buy your Blue Devils merchandise. The link is Junior Senior High School Student Council Blue Devils gear, or you can use the QR code.
Thank you, Jack. Always informative. We appreciate that. We'll move on now to Superintendent Lisa Wiles.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of reminders and then and one other item. So this coming Thursday, we have our meeting at Port Ewan for the Ulster BOCES annual meeting that the board's invited to. We can still get you in if you're not, but if you're there, just a reminder, if you're not signed up and you'd like to go, let us know and we will get you in, but just keep it on your calendars. It's a great evening. I also want to announce or remind you that on April 19th, from 6:30 to 7:30 in the senior high cafeteria, the Junior Honor Society will, sorry about that, the Junior Honor Society will be having their inductees into this year's Junior Honor Society. One other announcement, on June 1st, we have a Regents exam. There'll be no school for the students. That's as usual when there's a Regents exam for 7-12. We are going to be organizing an additional Superintendent's Conference Day for grades K through 6. So no students on June 1st, and the teachers will have the day. We have the time in the calendar. They will be working on collaborative planning time for next year, for moving into their curriculum maps and year-to-view glance for social studies and science. So I just want you to know that that's happening. The next board meeting will be uploading the 23-24 calendar for you to approve. You can expect to see that. I also did want to make a comment. I did put a letter out right before the break to the community. You know, area schools and many schools across the state, probably 50 to 60 now, have been plagued with what we call swatting, where law enforcement or school districts get some type of threat. So I put a letter out to the community saying that we're aware of this. We're in the process of reviewing our procedures, our safety plan, and we'll be meeting with law enforcement officials on Friday just to discuss the overall picture in New York State to see if there's any more suggestions that law enforcement have for us. But we're keenly aware of it. You know, as we all know, the safety of our staff and students is our priority, and that letter is posted on our website. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. You have something, John?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I know that part of our building plan has the new security enhanced entrances. Could you or Vince give us an update on when we can expect to see that? Because I know it's not going to happen soon enough, but in this time of getting threats and issues like that, it'd be nice to know when that might happen.
Next summer.
Next summer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
mean this summer or next summer?
The summer of '24.
I figured, thank you.
Move on to Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Vince Napoli.
Thank you. That is a great segue. This week, we plan on starting the construction of the walls of the new cafeteria. The footings have been poured. Everything that goes between the footings and the foundation is there. It's been compacted. It's been tested. So we expect the scaffolding has started to get put up. So the blocks will go up very soon, and it'll start to look like an extension of our elementary school building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Napoli. Move on to Deputy Superintendent Kelly White.
Good evening. I just wanted to make the school community aware that plans are underway for our 23-24 school improvement plans. So we are still identified as a target district, and we were made aware last month at a regional session that this year the state will be awarding the district $40,000 that it can use between now and the end of the summer to work on just the development of the plan. So this isn't for implementation of activities, but if we need to, any funds associated with the development of the plan. So that would include stipends for staff working outside of their contract hours. Also, we do invite parents and students to participate in the meetings. So if there's a need for childcare, transportation, snacks during meetings, we can use funding to support that, as well as any travel expenses incurred by administrators for attending some of the training sessions being offered by New York State. So we're always open to feedback on our school improvement work, and we'll be involving students and parents this time around. But if there's ever any recommendations or suggestions for how that funding should be allocated, you can always be contacted via phone or email.
Thank you. We'll move on to personnel resolutions for this evening. Upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved the memorandum of agreement between the Ellenville Central School District and the ETS RPA Teachers Unit be approved as attached.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 7.2, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved the following teachers be appointed for June Regents Review at a contractual rate of $55 per hour worked.
So moved.
It's been
Second.
moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 7.3, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved the following individuals be approved for the elementary intramural program for 22-23 school year.
So moved.
It's been moved. Seconded. Discussion.
Can we please get an update on the numbers that we've had in this program since we started? I know it was delayed the first semester because we were just getting it going, and it'd be interesting to see how many kids have been signing up.
We will have that for you at the April 18th meeting.
Thank you.
And
Ours-
maybe a little bit more information than just the numbers, but how it's going.
We will have that for you at the 18th.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Separation agreement and release. Resolve the Board of Education, Ellenville Central School District authorizes the Superintendent of Schools to enter into the separation agreement and release dated April 11, 23 with employee number 2882.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Move on to budget resolutions. Board members, if you need more time to review this proposed 24 budget, we can move this, table this motion over to the April 18th. That's the very last date that we can accept that. I saw some people looking and not seeing the slides. If you feel you need more time, we can move it over. If not, we can vote on it. Anybody feel they need more time? Okay. If not, we'll move on. Upon the recommendation, Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved the Board of Education of the Ellenville Central School District adopt the proposed 23-24 budget in the amount of $60,822,960, which is subject to voter approval at the annual budget vote on May 16, 2023, and to levy the necessary tax.
So move.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 8.2, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved the Board of Education approves the real property tax report card for the 23-24 school year as attached and as required by the New York State Education Department.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Resolved that the February 2023 Treasurer's Report and Budget
So
Detail
moved.
Report's been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Resolved the February 2023 Central Treasurer
moved.
Reports. It's been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. IEP. Resolved that attached list of student IEPs be acknowledged as appropriate. There are 10.
Move the list as presented.
Second.
List has been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Does someone want to move all the construction
Mr. President,
resolutions?
move 10-1 through 10-6.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Under other for this evening, 11.1, resolved that the second grade class be approved to travel out of state to Space Farms, Zoo, and Museum in Sussex New Jersey on June 6, 2023. Rain date of June 7th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion.
Will we get firmer numbers on what the report was as far as chaperones and
Yes.
all those types of
Yeah,
things?
we'll ask them.
Thank you.
We'll have that for you on the 18th. Anybody else? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Bid rejection for this evening. Whereas the Ellenville Central School District Board of Education advertised for parking lot repair, sealing, and striping work. Whereas bids for parking lot repair, sealing, and striping work were received and opened on March 31st. And whereas upon review and analysis of those bids in comparison with the anticipated estimates, Superintendent recommends that those bids be rejected in their entirety because they exceed the estimate.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion.
Will we be advertising this again?
Yes.
Thank you.
Harris?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Mark your calendars. It'd be a short trip back for our next meeting, next Wednesday, or next Tuesday, rather, April 18th. Anybody want anything on the agenda for April 18th for review? Mr. Burns.
Yes, I'd like to see us have discussions on two things. One, BOCES programs that we could possibly bring back to the district, like we did last year with the class in the elementary school. We were just talking that, as I mentioned, what Mr. Little said, that we have 12 in the cosmetology. If Rondout had 12, we could save money doing those things here, and there are other programs that are almost double digits that we could take a look at. So I'd like to take a look at our considerations on that. I'd like to ask that perhaps the superintendent could update everybody on what we're looking at on our athletic fields proposal. We had a meeting and get some information on that. And then the last thing I'd like to ask is, I'd like to repeat my request that we move the board meetings back to the elementary auditorium where we can sit in a U and face the audience. We do these great presentations that our students and staff do, and we've got people sitting behind us. People are scampering to find seats. If we had a presentation, they could do it on the stage in the auditorium. Everybody could see it. It would be much more comfortable. This is not conducive to a public meeting the way we are. I realize there are implications for the TV systems to do that, but we did it for years, and I'd like to seriously consider that we do that so that when we have these presentations, it gets the exposure that it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Move to second discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? We're adjourned.